Well, what did he care? Luca might be a bit mad, but he'd furnished him with a fine living for years, and Davron had learned to live with the ugliness and fear that went along with it. All Davron had to do was take care of business, obey orders, disable all the security systems at the galleries, and act as a beast of burden when Luca made his choices. It seldom involved anything in the least violent. Luca liked to handle that himself, as he had done tonight. But Davron couldn't resist looking curiously over his shoulder as he moved quickly across the gallery toward the door. Blood. It was no surprise. There was usually blood these days. Davron knew. Luca liked to leave a signature. This time he had a brush in his hand and was dipping it into the container and then painting the wall with a huge bloody cross. It was probably the blood of the guard he'd stabbed outside the gallery. Davron had wondered why Luca had sent him ahead to grab the painting while he cut the man's throat. He'd needed time to take the blood. The cross was finished now, and Luca should be following him soon. But he wasn't coming. He'd reached into his pocket and was pulling out something and fastening it to the center of the bloody cross. It was a photograph, Davron saw in surprise. This was a new addition to Luca's usual routine. Davron couldn't make out the details of the photo from across the gallery, but it was definitely the photograph of a woman. A woman with long, wavy hair that he thought might be as red as Fiona Macduff's in this portrait he was carrying. But Davron couldn't really be sure with all that blood flowing over the photograph. Kendrick Castle, Wales. "Wake up, Jane." It was Michael's soft whisper. Jane Maguire realized drowsily as she opened her eyes. It was still dim in the tent, though she could see a slit of daylight at the opening. Her brother, Michael, was no longer curled up in his own sleeping bag across the tent, but sitting next to her, fully dressed and with legs crossed. Was something wrong? Probably not. She could see that his chestnut-brown hair was a little rumpled, but those amber-colored eyes were sparkling with the boundless vitality usually present only in a 10-year-old. Still, better check. "Hi. You okay?" "Sure." He lit his flashlight and smiled cheerfully down at her as he saw that she was fully awake. "You were just restless, so I thought I should wake you up. Did you have a bad dream?" "I don't think so." She yawned, sat up, and looked at her watch. "I don't remember if I did." But it was 6:30 and almost time to get up anyway. All the volunteers and students participating in this archaeological dig at the grounds of Kendrick Castle usually met down at the mess tent for breakfast at 7:30. Michael always looked forward to mixing with them and finding out what they'd discovered the day before. It had become almost a ritual during the 3 weeks she and her brother had spent together sharing the work of the dig and the other experiences connected with it. But that wasn't supposed to happen today. She frowned as she gazed at Michael's jeans, blue t-shirt, and white tennis shoes. "Hey, why are you dressed to go to work? Your mom and dad are going to be here this afternoon, and after we have tea, they're going to take you back to London for the weekend. Did you forget about it?" He grinned mischievously. "Gee, yeah, that's what happened, Jane. I just can't keep track of everything on my social calendar. It didn't occur to you that that's hours away from now, and I can hang out with my friends and maybe do some digging." Of course he hadn't forgotten. Michael never forgot anything. And sometimes what was behind that little boy's sunny smile was not at all what it seemed. "Don't be a smart aleck." She reached out and tousled his hair. "You wake me up and then make fun of me." Her gaze was suddenly searching his face. "And as I said, I don't remember having a restless night." She paused. "Did you have a nightmare, Michael?" "I never have nightmares. Maybe I was a little restless." His smile faded. "Because when I woke up, I got to thinking that it would be great if you could come back to your apartment with us instead of staying here at the dig for an extra day." "Why couldn't you do that?" "Because I have work to do." But she could do it if she chose. She had been very tempted. This opportunity to see Eve and Joe would be very brief.